Matty Mullins from Memphis May Fire is now also the singer for the band Anberlin, and it's surprising a lot of fans at shows.
Every single night when I walk out, 30% of people that knew what was happening, and then there is another portion of the crowd that knows who I am because of Memphis, and they're like, what is the singer of Memphis May Fire doing here? And then there's another section of the crowd that's like, who is this short ginger? I was expecting 6'3" Stephen Christian to walk out on stage.
Anberlin has been a beloved band in the scene for over 2 decades, selling millions of albums with smash hits like Feel Good Drag. And Memphis May Fire has steadily become one of the biggest bands in metalcore, racking up millions of monthly listeners. Matty is on the show this week to talk about all the new Memphis May Fire music, his thoughts on the new Linkin Park lineup, whether or not I'm really speaking to him or a clone, and I ask him if we can expect either of his bands to be at the return of Warped Tour.
I just don't know what I'm allowed to say.
Hey, it's me, Jesse Lee, and before you dive into this week's awesome episode with Matty Mullins from Memphis May Fire and Anberlin, I just want to jump in here real quick to let you know we had some a little bit of technical difficulties with this episode. You might notice the occasional delay or the occasional overlapping of conversation, just weird reaction times every now and then. We did our best, okay? We tried to edit it together as best we could. We were unfortunately sort of at the mercy of tour bus Wi-Fi. Matty's out there on the road right now. He's out there rocking your faces in person. But we still wanted to get this episode together and get it out for you to check out because it is a good conversation, a lot of fun stuff here, so hope you dig it. I do appreciate you taking the time, man. Just to clarify, I am speaking to the real Matty Mullins, right? This isn't some kind of AI fuckery or any kind of hologram situation.
You'll never know, man, honestly. And I'm sorry for that, but the world just will never know.
Yeah, just to clarify for everyone listening, I don't know, what was it, 3 months ago or something like that? Some photos are going around that would claim that Matty Mullins had been replaced by a clone for some reason.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with it, dude. I was like, yes, yeah. I remember when this happened. I love it. It's
like just so. Yeah, you're in good company, man. You, Avril Lavigne, Paul McCartney, like these are good rock stars to be associated with.
Yeah.
Well, dude, so you're on tour right now, so I appreciate you squeezing me in. You're actually going to be in Cleveland this Saturday, but I'm going to miss it, unfortunately. I'm going to be out of town, so as you're coming in, I'm leaving. But how's the road been so far on this run?
Man, it's been really good. So, I was out on the first leg of this tour, and then that was 6 weeks. It went into 12 weeks with Anberlin, and then now 6 weeks more of this tour. So it's definitely, like a lot of touring, but I'm just doing my best to take it one day at a time and just be grateful for every opportunity. And shows have been awesome and gotten to see a lot of people in a lot of the same cities multiple times at this point. So just, I know that nothing lasts forever, so I'm just having a good time with it.
That's awesome, man. That's a great outlook to have, dude. Also, real quick, I do want to thank you guys for releasing this song, Chaotic, because the opening of that song has been like burned into my brain because just to peel back the curtain for everyone for a moment, on SiriusXM Octane, when I'm playing music for you, I usually get to hear the first few seconds of each song that leads in. And the opening of Chaotic is very catchy. And I hear that about 6 times a day. So it's drilled straight into my cerebellum. So thank you for writing a really awesome song that I get to hear multiple times a day.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, shout out to my dude, John London. I wrote the chorus with him out in LA. And so definitely stoked on how that one turned out. And it goes over so well live. Like that song live, I guess I didn't really have an expectation for it. And it's become an absolute highlight of the set every single night. So it's been really cool.
Very cool, man. Yeah, I love when you go to your Spotify, like all of your top songs are like newer ones, because when it's a band like yours, like Memphis May Fire, has been around for quite a while now. It's like sometimes it ends up being like more the legacy tracks, the songs that like, their first hits or whatever. But it's really cool when you go see a band that like, their newer songs are their top songs. That means like the fan base is super still engaged and thriving. And obviously it means they're still putting out freaking heaters. So that's awesome, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, our story is definitely unlikely. Remade in Misery is statistically our most successful album across the board. And that's just insane, being 8 albums in, and now the new singles that we're putting out and what will become the next record is shaping up to be even more successful. And that's just like, to be able to play new songs live and have that be just as well received as the older songs is not common. And we realize that, and we are so thankful for that. So it's a good time to be Memphis May Fire for sure.
Absolutely, dude. Yeah, I was surprised to find out too in my research, because I do my due diligence. I scan the Wikipedia pages when I need to, and I was surprised to find out that you were not even the original singer for Memphis May Fire, which is crazy because like you're so synonymous with Memphis May Fire.
Yeah, the band had only been a band for about a year, with a different lineup other than Kellen. And then quickly started shifting things with members. So they put out an EP at the very beginning of the band, and then I joined about a year later, and then the rest is history. So formed with a different lineup. Yeah, Kellen, guitarist, instrumental writer, is the only actual original member tied to the name Memphis May Fire. So
gotcha. Yeah. So I mean, you're still on the ground level then when it comes to that, for sure.
yeah.
So speaking of, switching members, you of course are now singing for Anberlin, which is, a huge band, not only in like, the scene as us growing up, Warped Tour kids and whatnot. They were very influential, I think, to all of us, and I'm assuming to you as well. How does that even come together? Like, how do you get that shot?
Dude, yeah, it's just as random as any spectator might find it to be. Like I was in my studio working on the new Memphis record and got a call from Stephen Christian, the original singer of Anberlin, and he just said, I need to take some time away from the band. Is this something that you would be interested in taking over? And I mean, at first I was like, wow, that's a huge honor, and I'm just so stoked to have even been considered to get the phone call, but that's literally impossible, was the thought that went through my head. And I went and talked to my wife and, spent some time talking to the other guys in the band. And it quickly became a realization that if I was to get to the end of 2024 and be absolutely just in the dirt, miserable, that was still not as bad of a feeling as wondering what if for the rest of my life. This band was so influential to me.
Right.
And I mean, even, not just Anberlin, but, Christian, the guitar player, was, an original member of Acceptance, which was another band that I was a huge fan of. And so I just decided to go all in. I was like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this with the same integrity and dedication that I put into Memphis. And we're just going to go double time. And then I did, and decided to, my mindset going into this super long stretch of touring was like, I don't even want to think of an end goal. I don't even want to think of a date in which I'll be home. I just want to wake up every single day, choose gratitude, go out, do the absolute best I can do, and just hope that people get the shows and the live presence from these bands that they deserve. And, now I'm on the final 6-week stretch of 24 weeks straight. And I think I've done that, and I'm really proud of it. And I'm not nearly as burnt out as I thought I was going to be. My wife has come out and done a lot of these tours with me, which makes me feel a lot closer to home. Miss the dogs a lot. But I mean, like at the end of the day, dude, anything is possible. And another thing that I was thinking of that I wanted to mention was I tried to compare this to other band members. And I was like, dude, nobody is doing 24 weeks straight. And then I started to realize that there's so many crew members that do this, tour managers and guitar techs and drum techs and
true
front of house engineers. And I was like, all right, who am I to say that this is some like undoable thing. When I know a lot of crew members that are just going from one tour to the next, to the next, to the next, this is obviously possible. And while it might be more rare for a band member, there are a lot of guys that do this and do it with excellence. And I was just looking up to them in this season and realizing, you know, if they can do it, I can do it too. So yeah, man, it's very cool, crazy opportunity. The Anberlin thing is showing no signs of slowing down. We've got more new music coming as well, and we've got When We Were Young coming up in a couple weeks, and all of that. So yeah, it's a cool time.
Yeah, man. Like you said, like it is possible, and it's crazy how adaptive the human spirit can be, and like how we are as the humans in general. Because like everyone's struggle is their struggle, you know. So it's like what you think you are maxed out on, you're like oh, I can't do this. Like even though you look at other people doing it, it's like I can't do what they do. Like this is tough, you know. But like you do find a way to like just make it work when it's something important. There's something you want. There's somehow you're able to find that 25th hour in the day that you didn't think was there. You know, you're able to stretch it and get this shit in, which is like a beautiful thing, I think, when, again, when something you're passionate about.
100%, man. Yeah. I mean, humans are so resilient, and it really just comes down to what you want, you know, like you're capable of anything that you want, but to be able to find out that you are capable, someone has to take your life jacket and throw you out past the buoys. And in those moments,
yeah,
that's where you find resilience. You know, that's where you find out what you're made of. And I don't think that I am anything special. I think anybody is capable of anything they want to accomplish. Just comes down to how bad you want it and how willing you are to get uncomfortable and find out, you know, what it all feels like. So
100%, man. Like obviously not everyone is like, super glued to their phone and like just like constantly scrolling social media and like checking in with their favorite band's whereabouts every day. So are there people that like come to the Anberlin shows that have like no idea that Matty Mullins is the new singer, and they're like, wait, what the hell? Like when you come on stage?
dude, I would say realistically 70%. Like it is
Really that much? Wow.
every single night when I walk out, everyone's like, you know, there's the 30% of people that knew what was happening and they're like, yeah, let's go. And then there is another portion of the crowd that knows who I am because of Memphis. And they're like, what is the singer of Memphis May Fire doing here? And then there's another section of the crowd that's like,
yeah,
who is this short ginger? I was expecting, you know, 6'3" Stephen Christian to walk out on stage. And so it's definitely like the first few songs are definitely an adjustment. And then I get to the point in the set where I like introduce myself and explain the situation. But that demographic, the Anberlin demographic, they are parents now. They are full-time employees. They are like living in the real world and they don't find out about shows via like, you know, all the music press sites and things that, you know, keep people up to date. They're just living life, man. And so they, you know, they're coming out to shows and expecting, and granted, like, you know, that tour was 12 weeks long and we hit every single market, it seems like. So now I think there's going to be a lot less of confusion around me being there. But for the entirety of that 12-week tour, I was putting some strange looks on a lot of people's faces for sure.
I like that you had to do like a little tutorial every show when you come out. Like, hey, by the way, guys, here's the rundown. Dude, like, what's going on here?
Every night, every single night was just like, so I know you were expecting to see Steven, and I'm sorry that I'm not as tall as he is, but I'm up here and I'm gonna do my best. So, yeah.
That rules. Do you think this is like a forever position, or do you foresee Steven coming back in the fold at some point?
My stance in the band is to act and operate and give my heart and soul as if I'm going to be doing this forever. And simultaneously, hoping that Steven comes back and, you know, continuing to remind fans and to remind Steven himself that like that spot belongs to him. Nobody could ever fill his shoes. I love him. I love his voice. His role in this band is essential to the band's success. So it's a thing right now where he doesn't know and I don't know and the band doesn't know. But what we do know is that my presence is keeping the band going, keeping the band afloat, keeping the band business moving, and continuing to put the band in front of their fans when it would not have been possible otherwise with Steven's current schedule. So, you know, I don't know is the answer. And all I know is I'm going to give it 110% every single minute of every day until he says he wants to come back. And in that moment, we will all celebrate. But until then, you can expect to see a lot of Matty Mullins with Anberlin.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, as of today, as we're recording this, 3 Days Grace just announced that Adam Gontier, their original frontman, is coming back to the band, but they're keeping their current replacement vocalist, Matt Walst, on, so they're going to co-do it. So this could be like the blueprint for Anberlin one day. If Steven ever comes back, like Matty Mullins, you guys can team up, like keep it going.
Yeah, for sure. There's been conversations like that, you know, where we go out and we do the tour with both singers. It really just comes down to, you know, Steven's involvement with the band is 100% related to his own choices and his own schedule, right? So as much as he wants to be a part of or is able to be a part of, that is his forever and ever. And then what he's not able to do, and in terms of, you know, some new music and things like that, I'm very much in this to win this. So it's the story is being written as we go, literally. And so, which is so different from Memphis. You know, Memphis is very strategic, very planned, very thought out. But Anberlin in their current state just doesn't have that luxury. And so we're doing everything we can to keep the ball moving and to continue to put out great Anberlin music. And I think we're doing that. So.
Very cool. So since this topic is close to home for you, then I want to know, how do you feel about the Linkin Park reunion with the new singer, Emily Armstrong?
Man, I see both sides of it.
Obviously, a different set of circumstances, of course.
Yeah. I totally see how fans can feel like it is so abrupt and how just that love for Chester and his involvement with the band could just simply never be replaced. I get that 100%. At the same time, I know what it's like, you know, for the band members that are wanting to continue to live out this dream and this gift that they have and wanting to share that with the world. And so I would just say, if it's so different that you cannot get behind it and you need to deny that to maintain your memory and love of Chester, then by all means you have that right. But if you can find it in yourself to support that band in their current form and to enjoy the art that they're creating, I think you should give them a chance because, you know, I think that that's what Chester would have wanted. So
very cool. Yeah, I agree, man. I'm with you on that. I'm excited to see what you're doing with Anberlin live. I love to I can't wait to see you guys do this together and, you know, in the flesh. Because I mean, I've seen the recordings, I've seen the music videos and stuff. I can't wait to catch you guys at a show one time. Actually, I'm going to be there at When We Were Young Festival in later this month in Vegas.
Awesome.
So we'll catch you there. Are you guys doing the full album set?
Yeah. Never take friendship personal.
Very cool. Yeah, because I had Tyson Ritter from All American Rejects on a couple weeks ago, and he's like, I asked him like what album I asked him like, you know, oh, you guys are playing the debut album. He's like, fuck no. He's like, we're not playing an album set. He's like, they never asked us. They never said that we had to play an album set. They just put it on the flyer. Like, we're playing a Grand Slam Hits Fest, baby. So now I'm like, oh shit. Like, are they the only band not doing that? Or is that like a thing that like a lot of bands are doing?
Yeah. I mean, I was, my assumption and what I've been told is that was contractual. You know what I mean? Like you have to play the album set that you had signed on for, which is rad because I loved that album. So, it's definitely not any form of punishment or frustration for me. I'm very stoked about it.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, I wonder if Tyson was just like, "Nah, I'm I'm not signing anything." Oh man. Oh, speaking of nostalgia, I know you probably can't say anything, but do you think you're going to be getting the call about Warped Tour? 'Cause I know that's buzzing around, and that you have 2 opportunities now to play that festival. So, do you think that's going to be in your future?
I just don't know what I'm allowed to say. But I will say, I
That's totally
think,
fair. Totally fair, man.
yeah, Warped Tour was a really big part of our career and our success as a band. And we would be absolutely honored to be a part of that.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, man, you've got 2 hugely successful bands going, a whole separate solo project that also released, consistent music. I mean, how has your motivation for creating music and art changed from being like just a kid in a band wanting to play music to now it being like a career? Like, is there any? I mean, I know your whole outlook on life has changed, of course, but like, I mean, can you kind of walk me through like where your motivation is nowadays?
Yeah. I mean, naturally, being on a schedule and having deadlines and things like that can affect your art. And I think that, we were affected by that for a few albums, honestly. But when the pandemic happened and we were just forced to stop and literally nothing was happening except for the creation of music, I rediscovered the value in taking as much time as you need to make art that you love, right? Because regardless of how music performs, like statistically, whatever you put out, you have to go out and tour and you have to, play those songs live in a real and authentic way. And it's so important for it to be something that you're proud of. And so I think that what did change for me was it went from the freedom to create whenever into doing it professionally, made it feel like, a lot of voices and demands. And then now has shifted back into, I will not compromise my love for making music, no matter what. Like, I don't care if our label gives us a deadline, I'll say no. And I don't care if there's some tour opportunity that would be life changing, but we just have to get the album out faster, I'll say no. I don't care. This music is going to live on long after I'm dead. And I will, from the point of Remade Misery onward, will only be releasing music that I am incredibly proud of, excited about, and something that I believe our fans deserve. And I'm not on anybody's schedule but my own.
That's a beautiful thing, man. I think that's when, of course, like the best art can come out. Like, I do think there is something to be said for like when you are under a pressure to perform, to bring out something that a lot of people do thrive under that, and they do produce some of their best work when they're under pressure, and they feel like like this is like the moment or whatever. But as flip side of that is too is like, yeah, sometimes you end up crapping out stuff that you don't like because you just got to get something out there. Feed that algorithm. So I think like, putting out what you're really passionate about is probably the way to go.
Yeah, I mean, you'll never be able to alleviate the pressure of writing and releasing music for millions of people. You know what I mean? Like, that the pressure is always going to be there. And You're right, it is an essential part of the process, especially because without any pressure at all, you're just going to sit on something and remake it and remake it and remake it until it's just completely lifeless.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that'll always be there. But just more so, it's almost like a headspace of freedom to say, I might make an album in 20 days. But if I don't, you won't force me to. That's a good place to be in as an artist who just wants to make their best art possible,
Is it tough to stay present in these moments of like all these huge things happening in your life, like all these like dreams coming true and like getting all these great opportunities? Like, is it tough to kind of like take a step back and be like, whew, like this is really cool. This is really awesome that's happening for me right now.
Yes. So, Memphis had a big wave early on that did fizzle out. And having been through that already, I realized that it wasn't until a couple of years after everything was happening that I was like, whoa, I can't believe we were in Sydney, Australia, playing stage 1A, Memphis May Fire, Anthrax, Metallica. Like things that happen, I definitely have a different and deeper appreciation for the moments that are happening right in front of me now. But because I went into this season saying, all right, I'm not taking anything for granted ever again because nothing lasts forever. I'm going to fully live in the moment. I've also come to find that you can only live in the moment to a certain extent. Like the mental capacity of a human being can really only experience levels of things. And I realize now that there will, no matter how present I am, there will still be things about this season of life that are being revealed to me in a few years, or even for the rest of my life. But to the extent that it is possible of being present and really noticing and feeling everything around me currently, I am being that, and I am proud of that. But you'll just never, with how chaotic this kind of, lifestyle, and especially doing it in two different bands can be, to be able to continue to take one step at a time, like moving one step every day, new music, new tours, new opportunities, to be able to move at that pace, it is impossible to actually be able to see everything that's happening. And I embrace that. I look forward to realizing things that were happening that I didn't even realize in the moment later on, but also definitely doing my best to wake up every day and not be wrapped up in something that could happen or something that already did happen, but very much what is going to happen that day.
Absolutely, dude. Yes, a quote that I've been kind of like living by lately is just to always trade my expectations for gratefulness, because I go into a lot of situations like thinking something's going to be one way. And then if it doesn't fit those exact like ideas in my head, and it's like, oh, it's kind of let down. So like, I just try to shake that as much as possible and always be like, hey man, whatever happens, like it's so cool that I even get to do this. Like, I'm just excited to be here. And I think a lot of people would benefit from kind of that little bit of a mind shift, especially when it comes to like doing something that involves pursuing your dreams.
Man, so much acceptance over expectations. That is so powerful. And I really do believe that life is beautiful and we miss it a lot of times because we're looking for it to look a different way. Right now, I'm definitely learning more about how to live life on life's terms. And that's powerful stuff, dude.
Hell yeah, man. Well, on that note, dude, it's been so awesome chatting with you. I really appreciate you taking the time. Do you have any more last minute plugs before we get out of here?
Man, be on the lookout for new music. It's coming from both bands. Touring is not going to stop. We are in full swing. Both bands, I feel, are in a season of just being really thankful for anyone who has eyes on us, because we're really passionate about the art that we're making and not taking it for granted. So thank you so much for anybody that's listening to Memphis or Anberlin, coming out to shows, rocking out with us. It's a very cool time for both bands, and it's not a cool time without you guys. So thank you very much. Thank you to you, Jesse, to Octane, to anybody that's given support to either bands. We're just forever grateful, and it was really cool to hop on this interview with you, and I hope that we can do it again soon, man.
Me too, man. I hope we can do it in person soon. And yeah, everyone listening, please go check out Memphis May Fire's latest single, Infection. But by the time you hear this, they're probably going to have a new single out, so stream that one. Check out Anberlin's new album. Follow Matty Mullins on all the socials, Memphis May Fire, Anberlin as well on all the socials. And above all else, please, if you enjoy this episode, share this episode with somebody that doesn't suck. All right? Take it easy now, and bye-bye.